Okay, so we got some more news from DC's small screen. It looks like we're getting a Supergirl series in development. Now, the big thing is with a lot of DC superhero stuff, I usually just roll my eyes and be like, "Yeah, I'll believe it when I get some casting in and some trailers in." That's usually my whole thing. Is that you see that's the thing with a lot of the DC stuff, and even like with the Marvel stuff, it took me a while to be like, "Oh, they're doing a Daredevil TV show, right?" But with DC, it's a lot more. With the DC stuff, it's a lot more like, yeah, okay, you're talking about this, this, and this, and that was kind of the thing with several of the DC stuff. Like when they talked about, oh, we're going to do a Dead Man show, and we're going to do an Hour Man show, and we're going to do this, this, and this. And with Supergirl, apparently it's in the works. We don't know what station's going to pick it up. It may be CW, it may be someone else. But for right now, we just don't know. For all we know, that the Supergirl TV show might even not happen. Like, it might be one of the other vastly number of DC shows that will never come to pass. Now, the big thing is that how are you exactly going to do a Supergirl TV show? Because the big thing is, DC is very anal about having Superman on their, or, you know, the big three on any of their, excluding, well, Wonder Woman had a pilot, but that pilot sucked. But, you know, they're very anal about their major characters, especially Superman and Batman these days, on the big screen. Because they're already on the movie screen. Why would they need to be on the TV screen? So that's the big thing, is that, what continuity is this going to go under? If it goes to CW, will it be its own thing, or will it be with the Flash and Arrow TV shows? Or will it be its own continuity, like with Constantine, or Constantine as they're calling it? Might as well say that. So with Constantine, it may be like Constantine. That's what I'm betting on. Is that it may be a lot like Constantine, where it's its own continuity. But again, what do you do? Because Supergirl is a member of the Superman family. You kinda need Big Blue in this show because that's her cousin. Anyway, enough about that. Also, it kind of makes me wonder, how are you going to do the TV budget? And as well, is Supergirl, you know, is this going to be the origin of Supergirl? Because again, if you do the origin of Supergirl with Kara Zor-El, she's kind of very intertwined with Superman and Batman. Hell, her whole first story is being found by Superman and Batman, then being turned into one of Apocalypse's acolytes. Or, excuse me, female Furies, excuse me. So, yeah, are they going to do their own story with it, or are they going to have it that she's been Supergirl for a while and is still adjusting to life? Now, how I would do it is that she's been Supergirl for a while, but she lives in Smallville with Ma and Pa Kent. Because that's how it was, like, in the comics. You even saw that in the 90s cartoon, where, you know, Kara grew up with, you know, she stayed on Earth, but she lived with, with Jonathan and, you know, and Martha Kent. And more or less grew up in Smallville like Clark did. And you could do the whole high school drama thing, I guess that would be fine, because, again, it's a teenage girl superhero. Might as well do the... And again, I don't mean that to sound sexist. What I mean is, that's how we know TV's going to be. Because if they do Supergirl, they're probably more than likely going to make her either a high school student or a college. I would prefer it to be that she's a college student. But the main thing is that they're going to give her teenage drama. Ah! Don't do that! I mean, yeah, it's hard being a superhero, and it's hard, you know, growing up in such a, you know, in the middle of nowhere, literally. I mean, why do you think Clark left in Metropolis? He was like, ha-ha, I'm getting the fuck out of Smallville. I'm joking, of course. I know Superman has a lot of love for his hometown. That was a joke, people. Calm down. But yeah, that's the big thing, is that, and it also makes me wonder if are they also going to have her in costume? Because I'd like to have, you know, more superheroes in costume. We've already got Oliver and, you know, Barry. They're getting costumes. I was so happy when, you know, when they had the Flash, you know, when the screenshots for the Flash came out, and I'm like, he's wearing a costume! Ah! It's the same thing with Oliver. When, you know, in the Arrow TV show, when Oliver showed up in costume, I'm like, okay, it's a start, but it's a costume! Amazing! So maybe there'll be, and the other thing is that what costume would they go with? That's kind of another thing, is that what costume would they go with? Would they go with right here, the pre-52 costume, or the new 52 costume that's very Kryptonian? And I'm kind of hoping, because I gotta agree with my buddy, the Mount Vernon kid, Chris made a good point of, the new 52 Kara is kind of a bitch. She's kind of bitchy, very aggressive. I mean, no disrespect to Michael Green. He wrote one of my favorite Superman-Batman stories, The Search for Kryptonite. That was really good. But, yeah, she's kind of... Hell, she's a Red Lantern, right? Is she still... As of this recording, she's a Red Lantern. Or, I have been reading the Red Lantern or Supergirl titles, because I'm kind of off DC for a while, but is she still a Red Lantern? I don't know. But last I checked, she was a Red Lantern. That's how, overly aggressive she was. Anyway, I digress. So, but don't get me wrong, guys, I am excited for this. The thing is that Supergirl never really had a lot of rogues to herself. She did have a few, but most of them were either offshoots of Superman villains or Superman villains themselves. Would I like to see Superman villains in this TV show? Yeah, I'd love to see Parasite. I'd love to see, Livewire or Metallo, or even like you could do Bizarro Girl. She showed up in the Bizarro Girl, for those who don't know, is like the Bizarro version of Supergirl who hailed from Bizarro World, and she showed up in like the last few issues of Supergirl before the New 52 happened, and it was pretty cool. So maybe they could do Bizarro Girl and bring in Bizarro himself. That'd be kind of awesome. But I know I've been giving this a lot of negativity, but I've been kind of like, DC says a lot of stuff. They kind of shoot smoke off for a few characters. Like I said, they talked about doing an Hour Man TV show, and then they talked about, a Dead Man TV show. They've talked about, several characters. I didn't even think Constantine was going to be a thing. The same thing with Arrow. For the longest time, I didn't think about, that Arrow was going to be a thing for a while, and it was the same thing with the Flash. Like, oh, okay, you're gonna do a Flash show, DC, don't lie. And that's the other thing, was like, that was the same thing with the Constantine TV show. I was like, yeah, right, DC, go ahead, sure, whatever. And that's actually happening, and I'm actually gonna go watch it, despite, I've heard mixed things about the pilot, apparently. The pilot's got mixed reviews, but I'm curious, because now they've got the Spectre in there. Holla. So, I am very interested to... So, would I like to see a Supergirl TV show? Yeah. Give her... I'd like to see another member of the Superman family get their own TV show. But there's a lot working against it, is what I'm saying. That's my biggest thing, is that there is a lot of things working against, poor Kara in this, kind of TV show. And do I think a Supergirl TV show could work? Oh, absolutely. Hell yeah. I absolutely think a Supergirl TV show is in no stretch of the imagination a possibility. Could we see it? I'll wait for some casting, and once they reveal more about this show, because again, they might not even do it. Like they talk a lot about superheroes getting TV shows, especially from DC, but nothing. We hear a few things, but then it kind of just drops off and dies. So, and that's a thing with a few other not really, because Marvel's got, the Marvel's got Daredevil and all that. They're doing all that on Netflix, but there have been other, TV shows based on comics that have been kind of have gone through development hell, or they're dead in the water, or they just get canned before they even see that. I'm really shocked that Scalped is apparently getting a TV show. Jason Aaron's Scalped, which is going to be on WGN. That's a TV station that's been showing their balls lately, hasn't it? WGN has been doing... I really want to see Salem. I missed my chance to see Salem. I missed Manhattan. I've been missing Manhattan. So WGN has been getting a lot of cool TV shows. So maybe I'll check it when I get it, because I've missed out on Salem and Manhattan. I'm going to make sure when they, get Scalped up and going, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go check that out. But I'm now at this point rambling. Once again, I'm not trying to shit-talk a Supergirl TV show, because I want that. I really do want that. I think it would be cool to see a female superhero get a successful TV show. Don't say Birds of Prey. We know how that went. Anyway, so I really want to know, guys, what do you guys think of all this? Do you guys like the idea of a Supergirl TV show? Where would you want to put it? What would you do with it? All that good stuff. Anyway, once again, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm out.